Whew, do I actually want to do this? I think I do. Let's get to the questions. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Alyssa, and today I'm doing something a little bit differently. I am just casually sitting in my living room. As you can tell, my hair is up, I have leggings on, my slippers are on. Basically, it's just like we're hanging out and I'm going to be answering some questions. So I did a post on Instagram yesterday and I asked for some of your questions, and it could be anything. I didn't have any limits to the types of questions that you could ask me. So hopefully there is a good mix of things between health, but also some personal questions. I think there's also some business questions. So I'm excited to see what you guys have to say, and I'm excited to share with you. So let's go ahead and dive in. All right, so our first question is from Hello Ella 23, and she asks, what got you to become vegan? Health issues or just decided to try it and loved it? Also, will there be wedding bells anytime in the near future? So the first one, what got me to become vegan? As many of you know, or actually some of you might not know, a lot of people that watch this channel assume that I follow a 100% vegan diet. And it's because I share primarily vegan recipes, and that is because I live a primarily plant-based lifestyle. I am not 100% vegan though, so I do still eat eggs from time to time. I incorporate honey into my diet sometimes, and I do still eat fish from time to time. I would say that I'm probably like 95% vegan, and the reason that I live this way, it was kind of a slow evolution, and I actually have a whole video that talks all about my transition. So if you're interested in learning more, I'm gonna link that for you below because a lot of people ask this similar question. But basically, I started to learn more about the adverse effects of animal products on people's health and also the environment. And of course, there's the whole ethical issue of like animal rights and everything like that. So it just was like a very large issue for me, and it was a slow progression, but I am really, really happy with how I eat now. I feel amazing. I have tons of energy. I love incorporating plant-based foods into my diet. I think that it is something that we can all strive to do better at, is eating more fruits and vegetables and whole grains and nuts and seeds and all of those good things. So that's really the type of diet that I promote the most, just because I personally am living it, and I honestly believe that it's a really great way to fuel your body. So I hope that answers your question number one. Question number two in there is if there are wedding bells anytime soon. And you guys definitely asked a few questions about Matt, and I'll talk a little bit about that in this video. But essentially, we have been dating for almost 8 years now, and marriage is definitely on the table for us. It's not something that we are talking actively about right now. I think that eventually we probably will, but neither of us are like dying to right now, I guess you could say. I will tell you I'm turning 30 in August, so I don't know if hitting that big 3-0 will change anything for me. But I'm really happy where I am right now, and I'm happy with the life that we have right now. So the second question is from Emma Brand, and she asks, what is your best tip in leading others to be vegan? Also, how long have you been vegan? So that's another question about if I am vegan. I'm gonna encourage you guys again to watch that video below because I talk all about that journey. And my best tip for getting started is to start slow. And this is part of the pillars of my Powered by Plants program, which is all about helping teach people how to eat a more plant-based lifestyle. Taking things slow, like maybe it's starting with just thinking about your breakfasts, for example, and really kind of nailing down a plant-based breakfast. And then you kind of incorporate other things as you go. That is how you build the habit. And I personally have found that that is the most sustainable way. So I hope that helps. And if you guys are thinking about transitioning to a plant-based diet, I will leave a link to the program if you're interested in checking it out in the description box below. Question number 3 comes from Angie Guardado. I hope I pronounced that right. She asks, do you recommend any books about holistic nutrition? So again, I have a video that talks about my journey to becoming a holistic nutritionist, and I list all of the books that we read in that certification program. So I'm not gonna go through that entire list right now, but I will link, of course, to that video, and you guys, if you're interested in checking that out, click that link and you can watch that entire video, and you can also get all of the books and resources that we learned. The fourth question, I think I'm gonna have to drop the numbers because I think I'm gonna lose where we're at, but I think we're on number 4. And the question is from Boreo92, and she asks, what pot and pan set do you recommend? For pans, I use ceramic pans. I bought them on Amazon. They're super inexpensive. They're naturally non-stick and I love them. Like, I literally have recommended them to everybody. So I will put the individual links to those pans in the description box below for you. In terms of pots, I have a set, well, I have two of them, of all-clad stock pots. So I have one that is maybe like 4 quarts and one that's maybe 1.5 or 2 quarts. The small quart one is the one that you see me cooking all of my quinoa in. And then I also have a Dutch oven that I use a lot. So those are kind of my staples in the kitchen. I think that you can honestly get away with having about 6 pans and you will be totally fine, because that's pretty much all that I use in my everyday cooking. All right, so the next question is from Callie KB, and she asks, I've always been curious about how people like you make a living off of being a blogger / Instagrammer. Do you do enough sponsorship stuff actually to make a livable wage, or do you do something else part-time? And again, this is a video that I have shot and talked about before, but I'm happy to talk about it again. I'll link the more in-depth video for you in the description box below, but essentially, this is my full-time job. I am more than just a YouTuber and more than just an Instagrammer. I have an entire website, and it's really this entire platform, I guess now, where I am creating content on at least 6 different platforms every single day. So it takes a lot to do, and it takes a ton of work, and it's taken me about 8 years to get here, but this is now my full-time income, and I get it from a variety of sources in terms of like how I actually make money. There's a variety of different sources, and I do talk about those in that other video. So if you want to learn more about that and how I got started, definitely check out that video. All right, so Jones LaFay, she asks, how do you come up with so many recipes? Do you create them all yourself, or do you recreate other recipes, or both? Where do you find inspiration? Also, you said once you work 60 to 70 hours a week. Is this true? And how do you manage it all and keep a balanced life? So for inspiration, I use a lot. So I use Instagram, I use Pinterest, I use YouTube. Also, living in New York is a great source of inspiration, going to restaurants and everything like that. And of course, there's also cookbooks and magazines, and a lot of it I do kind of come up with just because I know that certain flavors will go together, or it just sounds good in my head. Or a lot of other times I also will actually take an existing recipe on my site and give it a tweak in terms of flavor and kind of recreate it in a whole new way, but it's using the same kind of base that the other recipe was. So long-winded, I know, but that's kind of where I find inspiration. It's from all over. In terms of how much time I work, I think it depends on like where I am and what I'm doing and like how busy it is that time of year. I feel like right now I'm probably working about 60 hours a week. A lot of what I do doesn't actually feel like work. You know, it's communicating with you guys on Instagram, it's answering comments. It's like, I'm not really taking a break ever, which is one of the downsides of running your own business, of course, and especially a business that's like this, that's kind of based around social media, where you kind of have to be quote unquote on all the time. So it definitely, I'm sure, adds up to about 60 hours a week. I'm not tracking my hours or anything like that, but I am working at my desk for at least 7 to 8 hours every day, and then on top of that I do all of the social media like on the other times of the day. So My Healthier Choice asks, what is the correct ounces of protein to eat on each meal? That is such a hard question, and this is something that I've talked about before, but I really honestly believe that daily calories and macros and all that stuff is very individualized. So I can't tell you how much is the right amount of protein to eat, because it depends on who you are as an individual. It's also just like how you metabolize things differently. So some people do really well on a high carb diet, while others might do really well on a higher protein or a higher fat diet. I think that taking these specific numbers and kind of following a plan that people say you have to eat 1,200 calories a day to lose weight, or you have to have 40 grams of protein at every single meal, that is something that can kind of lead you astray, because that is maybe not the right thing for your specific body. So the only way that I really believe that you can figure out the right diet for you is to try different things. So I'm sorry that I can't give a specific answer. I know a lot of people are always looking for this like strict formula to follow, but I honestly believe that there is no strict formula to follow, which is why A, the health issues and health and wellness field can feel very confusing, but B, it's also really empowering because it means that the power of your health is in your hands and only you really can figure out what's best for you. Okay, so somebody is asking what my favorite brand of matcha is. I love a bunch of different brands. The one that I talk about the most is Matcha Reserve. Another brand that I've gotten on Amazon that I like is called Matcha Love, and I also like the Kenko matcha. And then there's also a brand that's a little bit higher priced. It's really, really good. They have a shop here in New York City that I really like, and it's called Ipoto Matcha. So those are the 4 brands that I like and I recommend. Next question is, who are your favorite bloggers and YouTubers for plant-based inspiration? You are one of mine, of course. Thank you so much. And that is from Greenie Andrea. So plant-based inspiration for me on YouTube, I've actually collaborated with a bunch of them already, but I'll just tell you. So I love Healthy Grocery Girl. I love Caitlin Shoemaker. I love Sweet Potato Soul. I like watching Liv B's channel. I like Hot for Food, although I will say I don't think their style of food is like mine. It's like a little bit more on the indulgent side, not necessarily as health focused. The other ones are kind of escaping me right now. I love Veggiekins. She's awesome. She's one of my friends here in New York City. She has a lot of really good what I eat in a day videos. And then on Instagram, I love Veggiekins on Instagram. I really like following Manila's Baker. She is mostly plant-based. I like all those girls that I just mentioned that I follow on YouTube. I also like on Instagram. Who else on Instagram? I like Nutrition Stripped. She's mostly plant-based. Deliciously Ella is mostly plant-based. My New Roots is plant-based. So there's a ton. Those are all of my faves, and I'll link them all for you in the description box below. So the next question is from Marshmallow231215. What are your essential beginning vegan kitchen tools? What is your advice for someone who is on a journey to lose 50 pounds? So 2 questions in one. The first is the essential kitchen tools. So for me, my most essential kitchen tool in all of the land is a blender. I use it multiple times a day. I love my blender, and I think it's one of the best investments that you can make in your kitchen. Another really great tool is a Cuisinart or a food processor. Those are really great for like raw vegan treats and things like that. I love having a spiralizer. I love having a good pan set, so we talked about those already. A good knife set is also really helpful, so like being able to cut veggies, because we eat a lot of veggies on a plant-based diet. Having a mandolin slicer has also been really helpful for me, and I would say that those are my like top. Maybe we could do a whole video about that at some point, but blender for me is numero uno. Okay, and then her other question was asking about 50-pound weight loss. One of the first things that I help recommend for them is that they start incorporating more plant-based foods into their diet. The great thing about plant-based foods is that it is a naturally lower calorie diet, especially when you're eating whole plant-based foods and not like the junky plant-based foods. So incorporating more fruits and vegetables and whole grains and beans and nuts and seeds, you actually start to like kind of naturally lose weight because you're flooding your body with nutrients, but they're also taking up a lot of volume in your stomach. So if you think, for example, like eating 10 apples, which is maybe 1,000 calories, versus a Big Mac, which could be also 1,000 calories, 1,000 calories worth of apples is going to take up a lot more room in your stomach, so it's going to make you feel a lot more full than 1,000 calories worth of a Big Mac or a French fries. So that's another really great way of why plant-based foods naturally help you lose weight. Lupe asked me yesterday, all right, this is her comment. All right, age, what did you go to school to? What was your field of study? What made you start your blog and YouTube channel? Do you have help with your business? And then she said, so many, I don't want to bombard you. So I've talked a lot about this in that whole other career video that I did that talks about my personal journey. Like I mentioned in the beginning, I'm about to turn 30 in August. I am so psyched. I don't know why 30 is like not scary for me for some reason. I'm like really, really looking forward to it. Kind of ready to say goodbye to my 20s for some reason. But yeah, so I'm turning 30 in August. I'm gonna go on a big trip. I don't know where yet, but we're gonna do a big trip. I went to school at the University of Vermont, which is the state that I grew up in. I was in the business school there. I worked in a marketing company for 5 years before I left to do this full time. So it's been 3.5 years since I've done this full time. I've had my blog since the year after I graduated college, so for almost 8 years now. So it took 5 years to kind of build it to the point where I was ready to make the leap. And I told myself that the worst case scenario was that I would just go get another job. I mean, I knew that like quitting my job and trying to pursue my passions was not gonna look bad to a potential employer if I ever decided to go back to work. Honestly, like I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing without you guys. So a lot of the credit is also due to you for continuing to like watch and support and comment. And I'm just so grateful. So I hope that answers part of the question. Let me see what else she asked. She also asked, do you have help with your business? And the answer is that I do have some help. I don't have anybody that works for me full time. The goal this year is that I am gonna start to grow the team a little bit more. I have somebody that helps manage my Facebook page. I have somebody that helps with design, so designing ebooks and designing some graphics for my blog and stuff like that. I also have a company that manages my Pinterest account. Who else do I have? I have somebody that's doing my new website. I have some like brand strategist people that I've worked with in the past, but the only person that I have on a consistent basis who I'm paying an hourly wage to is the person that is helping me with my Facebook page. Okay, so now I have 2 more people that ask questions, and I'm going to answer, like, they're both a bunch of different questions in one. So the first is, if you plan to have children, how will you raise them being that your partner eats meat and you do not? Do you ever picture there being a conflict in the eating habits you want your kids to have? And the answer to that is yes. I do plan on having children at some point. Not sure when, maybe in the next couple years, who knows. But when we do have children, I'm envisioning that I will start by raising them plant-based. So I want to make sure that my kids are eating a lot of veggies, whole grains, not a lot of processed food, obviously. Like, I don't personally eat that way. Meat and fish, I haven't thought a ton about. I think that we probably will have a little bit of conflict around that. I personally will probably not want them to be eating meat. But I also think that that is a potentially personal choice for those children. So once they kind of get to the age where they can decide, I want to try to educate them as much as I can about like where meat comes from, just so that they can kind of understand the connection between meat being an actual living animal and like the food that's on their plate. I think that that really resonates with a lot of kids, and I want them to be able to make that informed decision on their own. Leading up to that, when they are not like at the age where they can really make that decision, I probably will be trying to stick to a primarily plant-based diet for them. So I don't really know. I don't have an answer for you yet, but if you guys stick around for the next couple of years, I'm sure you'll find out the answer, as hopefully that happens in my life within the next few years. All right, and then I thought that this would be fun to end on because this is one of my dear friends and readers who follows and is so amazing. We like talk all the time on Instagram, and she is just really amazing. So she asked me a bunch of questions, and I thought that this would be fun to like end on because they're fun questions. So the first is, how did you and Matt meet? What's your love story? How would you say you influenced his diet? Is he a rebel? So Matt and I met in college. We met through mutual friends. I was dating somebody at the time. It was my high school boyfriend I'd been dating for a long time. We were really, really good friends in the beginning, and then I broke up with my boyfriend and we kind of started dating, but like not officially. But we decided that we wanted to go to Costa Rica, and we went to Costa Rica for 5 weeks, like a week after I graduated college. We had pretty much zero money, and we went to go do this like turtle saving project in this very remote area of Costa Rica. We got there, it was not what we expected at all. Matt got really sick. The living conditions were not great. The town was not like representative of Costa Rica at all. Like the people weren't welcoming, they weren't friendly, nobody made us feel comfortable. So we actually decided to leave the program after a week, and we just traveled the country for the next month. And it really kind of instilled a lot of what we do and value together, which is like quality time and traveling and exploring and adventures and things like that. And that's very much how we still like operate together. We love traveling. We travel as much as we possibly can. We have our cute little doggy together who is just like amazing, and that's one of the things also that really solidified it for me with Matt, is that I saw how he interacted and how he does interact on a daily basis with our dog, and I was just like, all right, if this guy interacts with a dog like this, like I know that he is going to be an awesome father, and that's just like one of the many reasons why I adore him and why I think that we're so great together. In terms of how he eats, a lot of you know that he does not eat plant-based, and I'm actually planning on doing a whole video about how I kind of navigate having a partner who does not eat plant-based and how that kind of like has evolved over our time together. So he's not ever like pressuring me to eat something that I don't want to eat, and I am never pressuring him, well, not most of the time, pressuring him to eat the things that I want to eat. What I do instead is that I tend to just like make the same base of our meal. So I'll make like a bunch of vegetables, and then he can add chicken to his meal, and I'll do beans or whatever. You know, we make it work. And if you are in that situation where you're really struggling right now, I promise that there are ways to get around it, and don't lose hope and don't despair, because you can make it work living with somebody who is not plant-based if you are plant-based. So she asked me about what are some of my favorite plant-based and vegan / all the good stuff places to eat in New York City. I think that I need to do a blog post on this because I get asked questions about where to eat in New York City all the time, and I don't want to just like sit here and list all of my favorite places. So let me know what you guys would like to see. Would you like me to like do a video of maybe going to some of my favorite, maybe top 10 places, or would you like to just see it in a blog post form? Let me know in the comments below, because I definitely get this question all the time, and I will try to make it happen for you guys. Now she asks, how could you balance your social life with a healthy lifestyle? So I think that that is a great question to end on, and I think that it's another one of those things that we could have a whole separate video on. But one of my best tips for you is that you have to have like a reason to explain why you want to live a healthy lifestyle. So obviously there's something inside of you that's driving you to make these positive changes in your life. When you can put a voice to what that why or what those things are, and you can explain it to people, they just get it. Hopefully the people in your life are going to understand that. And if they don't, not that I would say like say goodbye to them, but like reconsider your friendship, because if you're friends with somebody that is not going to support you making decisions that are going to make you a better person, then that's probably not the really right relationship for you to be in. I feel like I'm just babbling away in this video, but a few other suggestions I have for you. If you're going to like a dinner or a potluck, ask the host if there's anything that you can bring. Offer to make something, and I guarantee you they will feel so grateful that you are like helping chip in, even if it's just a salad. Like say, hey, I don't know if you're planning on having any vegetables or whatever, I'd be happy to make a giant green salad. And then you know that at least you have something that you can eat when you get there. And then my last tip is just to like be okay with not being quote unquote perfect all the time. I talked about this in my last What I Eat in a Day video, but I think a lot of us are always striving to like eat the perfect healthy diet and always be living perfectly healthy. And the fact of the matter is that like that isn't possible really all the time. Like it's not possible to eat healthy 100% perfectly all the time. I sure as heck don't eat healthy perfectly every single one of the times. Like sometimes I want a french fry and I'm gonna eat a french fry, and no, I am not gonna beat myself up about it, because I know that when I'm eating healthy most of the time, then I'm doing right for my body, and I'm letting go sometimes because A, it feels good, and B, like it's not gonna mess anything up. If you're eating one meal that is bad, I should say bad, and then the rest of your meals are like really clean and packed full of healthy ingredients, you're gonna be fine. You're not gonna gain weight from eating like 2 slices of pizza. I think you just need to be kind with yourself. I think you need to let yourself have fun. I think you need to try to not overindulge like all the time. But if you overindulge sometimes, hey, that is fine. Like enjoy that cookie, enjoy that cupcake, enjoy that slice of pizza, like enjoy those french fries, and just get back on the horse the next day, have a smoothie in the morning, and you are gonna feel great right away. So I hope that answers some of your guys' questions. Thank you so much to everybody who asked them. If you guys like this format, I'm thinking maybe we could do these on a more regular basis. I thought it would be fun to maybe do like just 5 at a time and kind of limit them so that we could maybe chat for like 5 to 10 minutes instead of potentially, I don't know how long I've been recording this video, but maybe like 20 minutes. If you guys like that idea, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comments. Like it if you enjoyed it. subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next week. Bye, guys.